Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and we've just got back from Denmark from it's called Land and Sea, Land and Water, sorry, not sea. We came by sea, but we went over canals and river, and it was actually good fun. I did film it. I've got quite a video of little bits and bobs of Denmark, Copenhagen, to be honest, and then a little boat trip. So what I'll do is I'll tag it on the end of this video this time, and then those of you who want to watch it can, and those of you who don't have to. But our tour guide for the boat trip was hilarious. She reminded me a lot about how I used to be when I was young, where I would always find a little quip to say, something funny, and she was very, very, very funny. I didn't record everything where we went and what she said. I did edit a little bit out here and there, but it was fun. On the way back, I almost sat in a seat that got soaking wet, but I wanted to sit outside, because one of the things when we were in the coach, I could have filmed the famous street, well, where it's off of a canal, with the coloured houses, the one that's in all the pictures, and I could have filmed that, but the windows were dirty in the coach, so it wouldn't have been very nice picture or a nice video. So I didn't, and so I didn't want to go inside the boat, but then you could open the window on a couple of the sides, so I could have done that, but I wouldn't have been able to get an all-round view. I have no idea if I managed to move it too much, or if I managed to get everything in, because when you're out in the sunshine, the screen is black, and so it's hard to see what you're filming. But I did my best, and I might have got some shots of this couple of American girls who sat next to us on the left, who I almost moved over and sat there myself, but I'm so glad I didn't, because they got absolutely soaked, and for the most part shielded me until the one who was the biggest one got up. And that was it. Then I just put the bag in front of me, and all that got wet really was my sunglasses. So but it was because there was so much spray from the front of the boat as we went along. I think if it slowed down it wouldn't have been quite as bad. But it was good anyway. We had a great time, and then we came back, and right by the ship was a little ice cream place, and it was in Krona, so I've no idea how much we spent. Did buy fridge magnets and a little Christmas tree bauble, which we didn't really have a stop for, but this other American lady and myself really needed the loo. Actually, she was Canadian, not American. And so we went off, and we managed to get there before everybody else. So as we came out, I said, well, there's a gift shop down there, which we passed on the way. So we obviously got past it on the way back. So we're going to head off to that gift shop, and we'll see you when you come past. So that's what we did. We went off and managed to get ourselves fridge magnets, and she bought little goodies that she wanted, and then we just met up and got on the boat. So yeah, we had a interesting kind of trip, and very, very funny, so that was good. And we got back early enough for lunch, and Gary has gone off to read his book downstairs in one of the bars while I do this. So yeah, it's been full on, and I think I got ahead of myself, didn't I, somehow. This is Tuesday, which is your tomorrow. How that happened, but it does, you know, when I'm doing my videos and I've got a bit discombobulated because of, you know, not being at home and all the stuff. And I made myself a nice cup of biscuit tea, so you know, there are my home comforts as well, nice and cool. And I'm filling in my cruise journal. I didn't do yesterday's yet, we had such a busy day, I didn't get to do it. And then after dinner we went to the show with the people that we share a dinner table with, Michael and Sandra. So we went off with them to watch Masquerade, and after that basically was bushed. So came back up here, and when I kind of had to make sure my videos were on. Do you know, I haven't checked. It's a bit remiss of me. I haven't even checked that they went on. Yes, Have a Yarn went on. Oh, I'm earlier than I thought. So not only that, I'm looking at my time thinking it is 2:32, but it's not. It is 1:32 for you. So when I look and I think it's not on, it's because you're actually not caught up with my time yet. So yeah, anyway, she knows that is, I've had a ridiculously dry nose. I have no idea why, but dry to the point of having minor nosebleeds, and just really, you know, when you breathe in, it makes that whistle sound where your nose is so dry. That's how it's been, and I have no idea why it's been so dry. But it wasn't today though. I mean, everything was wet, so that's cool. And tomorrow we have another trip, Sweden tomorrow, and I can't remember what the trip is. It's over there in the drawer, but I will take it and show Gary because he was asking me earlier what we were doing. But the weirdest thing was, yeah, when we went to see the tulips, we took a coat in a backpack and we carted that thing around with us, and we didn't use it. So today it's lovely and sunny and it's quite warmish, so we left those coats here, and being at the front of that boat in the wet, really could have used those coats, but we left them here. So we're not doing very well with the coats situation. And I have been from time to time a bit chilly, because that is the only thing I brought. I didn't bring a fleece. I was going to, but you know what it's like when you try not to bring too much stuff. And I didn't, and I knew I should have, because I would have loved my fleece. You know, I don't always feel the cold, but when I do, like I don't have it on for long, just enough to take that shit off. But I would have worn that to death on this little cruise, because it's spring, so there's glorious sunshine and sometimes a little chill in the air. And honestly, on the boat I had goose pimples because it was cold and wet, but at the same time, it was once you turn the corner and you're no longer in that little section, it was hot because the sun was out. So I've got maybe a few pictures. I don't think I took many with this phone, and so I can't really show you a great deal, because maybe I took more than I thought. I didn't take many. This was the sunrise this morning. I managed to get a little light blob in it. I don't know how that happened, but that was what, as soon as I opened my eyes this morning, that's the sight that greeted me through the window. This is the Little Mermaid in Copenhagen, Hans Christian Andersen's Little Mermaid. And I don't know what that is, but it's some dude near the Little Mermaid, and it says Peter underneath it. So then I managed to get the Little Mermaid without anybody's heads or anything in the way, as it stands on the rocks. So there she is. And well, her head was inspired by somebody who thought she was gorgeous and used his wife as the model. But looking at this, I've got to be honest with you, I think that looks more like one of those aliens from Star Wars. But no doubt she was gorgeous. This is called the Marble Church. It's very, very beautiful. What else have I got to show you? There's another marble church. This, who's that? What does it say there? Frederick Quinto. Yeah, I think this was a bishop on a horseback. It's got the sun in it, obviously. See, there was sun. It was in sky. This is the royal palace. That's where the king lives. They had a queen up till recently, just like us, and so she found it very difficult to start saying king, and I know exactly how she feels because I'm the same. But their house burnt down and they were homeless, so they moved into this square where all the military and the nobles lived, and they virtually said, like, we're going to live there, so you better move out. So they occupied this house and they won't move. They've stayed there forever. So they've got sentries. There they are, a bit like us, you know. But whereas our Buckingham Palace is behind gates and they do the changing of the guard exactly the same as us, but that's in a square, and anyone can go and walk near them, but they do shout at you if you kind of go too close to them. There's a bit of a close-up of the sentries in their box. So they're very similar to us in many ways, but this was the famous road taken out of the window of the coach. See what I mean? It was a bit murky. I couldn't get a good picture of that, but you know, get loads on the internet, so it doesn't really matter. There's our ship sideways on. We was on the water side, decided to take it. That's what it looks like. I've been wanting a picture of the ship from the front, and guess what, guys? Managed to get a picture of it from the front. So I was well happy. That was when we come back. And then we got off and we decided to have an ice cream, and we sat on ice cream cones, open ice cream cones for a cute shop of, there they are, these chairs that are like ice creams. Oh, that's sweet. And then I was taken by this. This is an a toilet, and it's called toilet in English, but pissoir. I thought that was, pissoir was hilarious. Look at that, guys, look, pissoir. I thought I've got to take a picture of that and show you. Yeah. And then I took one picture when we got back on the boat of our waterway ahead of us when we leave. So yeah, that's it. That was that is not all I took. The rest are on this device here that I'm recording on. So I did take pictures, I took videos, and as I said, I'll whack them on the end of this. And I might put some of the pictures on there as well, because you can put the stills and it just flicks through them. I did it once before with a tutorial. So yeah, cheers, cheers, cheers. I'll just put I mean, if I had lots of time, I would sit and I'd edit stuff out and I would make a nice video, stitch it together. But Gary said, are you going to be long? I'll go down and read the book. Are you coming to join me? And I'm thinking, you know, he never usually, I never usually have this. He usually just goes and sits down in the bar, reads his book and waits for me. But I feel like he kind of will miss me. So I will, this morning I had a bit of a kerfuffle. I couldn't find one of my phones and I couldn't find it anywhere. Or a set of sunglasses. Found them, but I still haven't found the phone. I'm beginning to doubt whether I brought it, but you know, I think I did, because I remember taking it out of the case. I've got two. One's got 3 cameras and one's got 2, and I remember pulling it out and thinking it's not the one because it's just got the 2. So whether I did that at home or here, I know I left my red phone at home because there was no point in bringing it. I just figured I didn't need it all. So whether I don't think I just brought 2. I brought the 3 in case my memory gets full up and I can't delete stuff and I need more to record on. So I'm sure I brought it, but it's just disappeared. And we bought a bunch of tulips, like ornamental. They were over there. They've disappeared. So I don't know if Gary's put them somewhere. He's not here to ask. But I hope that our little cleaner guy hasn't thrown them away thinking they were rubbish. Can't imagine he'd do that, but you know, things are starting to crack me up a little bit when you can't find anything. It is hard to find things in this room, it really is. And I shouldn't have messed my hair up. I have. Ow, poo. Let's do a joke then. We've got a really small one left over from yesterday. Why haven't aliens visited our solar system? Very apt for me, this. They looked at the reviews and saw that we only had 1 star. I thought, yeah, give that a miss. Give it a miss. Okay. New page. Have we got any little ones? Yes, we'll do another little one. I've only had 1 little one. When your wife says she needs a new broom, it's best not to ask if she broke the last one crash landing. No, best not to, indeed. Okay, so those are Gary's jokes of the day. All ticked off now. Ticked all the ones I did before. So we're all caught up. We're caught up on the pictures. Well, caught up with the fact that I went ahead. Anyway, it's lovely here. You know, when you visit other countries and you see the way they are and whether you'd feel at home there or not. And when I'm in Amsterdam or the Netherlands, I never felt, although in some ways they're similar to us, but in many ways they're not. But maybe it's the Viking blood in me, I don't know. I just feel like this, I have an affinity with the Danes. I don't know why. But yeah, I do feel like they are very similar. And maybe that's because their culture came over and mingled with ours. I don't know. But they are very, apart from the fact that their royal family, like I said, live without walls, without railings. They kind of are part of everybody. They're very popular, but they're accessible. They are not like ours, you know, kept away by security. But anyway, Sweden tomorrow. Sweden. We shall see. We shall see the Sweden. And so today we purchased some things using the Chase card, which converts currencies for you and so I've spent some krona, and I have no idea. When I look and I thought 100 krona for a fridge magnet, or for 3. So what's that in English? I have no idea of the krona to the pound. So when we spent money getting ice cream, I have no idea what I've paid for an ice cream. An American lady that went by said that she bought ice creams when they were in Amsterdam and it cost her £20. So heaven knows, really. Should we look? Should we see if it's there? Hang on, my app needs to see my face. Right, let's have a shock. Danish souvenirs. Okay. £11.63 and £6.86. £6.86 was a Christmas tree bauble, and £11.63 was 3 fridge magnets, and £15.12 was 2 ice creams. Yeah. So hang on, what's this? Jan Klinger Zettel. What's that? I bought £16.50 from somewhere. Must be the tulips. Yeah, that was the tulips. So I got better for my money, basically, with the tulips, because they were a more substantial thing than fridge magnets. But you know, they're pretty much on a par, I suppose, because at least I got 3, and I do still have them, which is a bonus. Whereas wherever the tulips are, they've kind of run away. But yeah, so anyway, I'm going to get off, upload this, and stick the other video onto it, and drink my tea while I'm doing that. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked the flowers, the tulips in Amsterdam, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Yeah. Oh, what did we do last night? Oh, you went to see a show. I don't know what we're going to do tonight. I think there's music and disco. So if we don't eat too much, we never know, might sort of make it to that. But sleeping is getting better, and we had a little bit of a choppy ride yesterday, so I love that. It rocked me to sleep. I knew it was going to get choppy because when I went in the lift, there were vomit bags, and I thought, as rough as it was in all those other cruises, I never saw vomit bags. So there must have been someone who specifically asked for it or something, or already chucked and chundered, and so they thought better put some out. Don't know. Anyway, on that note, I will say bye-bye, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Take care. So here we are in Copenhagen.
Accent.
Very noisy people at the side of me. Obviously, doing a little video.
All right.
But, so yeah, it's the statue of the Little Mermaid, Hans Christian Andersen, and all that. There's a boat tour, which we're going to be doing soon. So we just got off, and straight away we have a photo opportunity. Okay, so not much else to see, just water. So, and I can't actually see what you're seeing, just see my face reflecting. But there she is, Little Mermaid. and I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to pause it, and I won't keep telling you I'm going to pause it. I'll just do it in the future. Okay, I'll be back soon. Right, so here we are, we're in Copenhagen.
Accent.
Very noisy people at the side of me. Obviously, doing a little video.
All right.
So yeah, it's the statue of the Little Mermaid. Hans Christian Andersen and all that. There's a boat tour, which we're going to be doing soon. So we just got off, and straight away we have a photo opportunity. Okay, so not much else to see, just water. So, and I can't actually see what you're seeing, just see my face reflecting. But there she is, Little Mermaid. And I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to pause it, and I won't keep telling you I'm going to pause it. I'll just do it in the future. Okay, I'll be back soon. Well, this is the palace where the royal family now live. I can't really see what shot I'm getting, but they were homeless after a fire, and they just decided to move in here and never moved out apparently. But you can see that there's huts for centuries over there. But this whole area is just a round kind of, well, it's just beautiful buildings, but they just house dignitaries and kind of guests. That one there is the prettiest one, but that's where guests of the royal family stay when they're here. And, yeah, so I'm going to say hello, Gary. We're going to walk up this way. There's a fountain, and I want to have a look. Yeah, but you're making me we were just at a church. There's lots of pretty churches and stuff here, but they apparently live in this one because they said the light was good and they had a view of the harbour, which they liked. And even though they could have moved elsewhere and everything, they decided to stay here. But apparently this is, behind here is the harbour. I don't think we can wander too far because we're going to be setting off again in a minute. But I just wanted to get you a shot of the sentries, who apparently don't like it if you approach them, or they can yell at you. Bit like they do in Britain if you get too close to them. But at least the ones in Britain, they have horses and all sorts, but they got these little huts and they patrol. And obviously that one's got no friends, but he does. And yeah, so there is the dome of the church that we were just looking at across the street, and it's very pretty, nice. We've been getting a little history, a little potted history of Denmark, how they used to sort of kind of own Norway, if you like. So there's Denmark, Norway and Sweden are very kind of together, if you like, and the children of Denmark feel like the children of divorced parents. Some Norwegian and some Danish. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more together than, Europe is definitely a lot more together than we ever imagined ourselves being European. We were always that little island that was kind of tagged and on the end, inaccessible. There's quite a lot of war commemorations here. There was a Churchill, we just passed a place called Churchill Park, where they have the museum for the resistance when the Nazis occupied, and it was named after, obviously the park was named after Churchill, and lots of commemorative stuff there for the British for that. Yeah, lots of history and lots of lovely buildings. We're only stopping here for a little while, and then we're going off again to a boat trip. So I'll continue recording on the boat trip.
I can finally do a proper welcome and an introduction we need to introduce a crew for you guys, so we're starting off with the most important one. It's the kind, it's the charming, and the very pretty Come on, testing. It is, of course, Captain Jakob. Okay, let's test here. Okay, it's working. So he's the man with the plan. He's charming, he's cute, he's skilled, and very happily married. My name is Isabella. I'm single, and I will be your guide on this tour. If you have a son, let me know. But we are here in the city center. There's so much for you guys to see already, so we're just starting the tour off immediately. But just before that, the people on the inside, if you haven't noticed, especially this side over here, you can open up the windows. If you need some help, let me know. And now, take a look over to the huge building. You guys must have heard just a little bit about it maybe already, but this is Christian Sport Palace, where we have the Parliament, Supreme Court, Prime Minister's office, anything with law and power in this country, where they've been shaking their ass off about the whole Greenland situation, but it's working out. You can actually visit the tower on top for free, so when you guys fall in love with Copenhagen and decide to come back, don't worry, you can visit the tower, and there's elevators, so it's much easier. With this, we have the first bridge straight ahead of us, so please stay seated, mind your head. Thank you. Oh, you guys are already well behaved. It's gonna be a good tour.
Oh, I can finally see the screen.
It's chilly. No, it's chilly.
Nice. It's
There is
nice.
seats here on the inside if you need to. No, it's okay. The sun will come out. Oh, wow! All right, so now over to the... So, okay, it's not working. Going to be back in 2029, so 2033, we all know that. Coming up, another bridge. Thank you guys, staying seated. And on the left-hand side, coming up, you can see a bunch of containers stacked on top of each other. That's because the building behind it is getting a big grand renovation. And the building you guys are about to see in 3, 2, 1. There we go. This is the National Bank of Denmark, where we have all the money, or the paperwork for it. It depends on how you look at it. And it's covered in scaffolding because they are changing the whole facade from one gray marble to a different gray marble. Not because the first gray marble were any bad or anything, but they just picked out the wrong shade, so they spend all our tax money to pay for more marble. So that is how it is right now. That's how the state spends the money, and the Danes are unhappy. How the Danes spend their money, mind you, is at the other side, a kayak bar, where we have some really good, nice, cold, crisp Aperol Spritz, and you get to sit here out of these prams and sort of wave around with the waves. It's super fun. So again, when you come back, you have so much to do and drinks to drink. You can see the kayaks here, you can rent them, and there is one of them that is purely green. I'll give you a sort of information about that in a minute, but first, bridge. Alright, the green kayaks is an initiative that helps out clean out the whole entire harbor. And if you guys know, the water here are so clean. It's some of the world's cleanest harbor water, so people can swim around wherever. With the green kayaks, you get to rent it for 2 hours for free, but there is a catch. They get a big bin in the middle of your kayak, and you get a little nippy nap. Now we have 2 hours to sail around and collect as much trash as possible. The building you guys see in front of us has the beige building with the orange roofing on top here. This has a direct line over to Christian Sport Palace, and it used to be where the royal family lived, and the king wasn't happy about sort of the look of Copenhagen. It was ugly, so the architects made sure that the surrounding buildings surrounding his town was prettier. So this one has now a lot of windows and these grand doors, and they didn't care for the back side because the king couldn't see it. So you guys take a look at the back. Wow. Sweden. But then we got a connecting bridge connecting us to Sweden, so we didn't need it anymore. So in 2022, it got transformed into this very fancy and exclusive members club known as the Soho House. If you guys have never seen it. And then in front of us, what you guys are going to bridge connecting the whole inner harbor together. It was built with the ambition of making Copenhagen the best city in the entire world to go by bike, which is a title that we finally got. Copenhagen is the best city in the world to go by bike, so go home Amsterdam. And there is one person for every 5 bikes in Copenhagen, so if you have not been run over by one, it's just because you haven't been here long enough. It is going to happen to everyone. And it's known as the kissing bridge as well, because when it opens up, it doesn't lift up in the air, it slides away from each other, meaning when it meets together again in the middle, it's like 2 people meeting in a loving kiss. So this is where all the Copenhageners take their first date. I was there yesterday. It went well. And the tale goes, if you kiss your loved ones under the bridge, your love will last forever. Forever is a very long time, so just think about it before you do it. But I'll look at the front.
Ready? Snog now. Oh, you got to do that. Ready?
Disgusting. Okay, now take a look down to the left-hand side. This is where you see the iconic canal of Nyhavn, the place with all the colorful houses and the only thing that shows up on Google when you Google Copenhagen. So take your fair share of Instagram photos. This is the only proof you've been here. The whole canal actually used to be where all the sailors would come by, unload a lot of goods that they have been sailing with, and then before they left in the morning, they had a night out of partying. So it was just sailor pups and brothels. And now it's pups and ice cream, so we have changed that a little bit, of course. Then over to the left again, you can see a big box on top of this building, the brown one, wrapping windows around it, big poster with Evita premiering the 14th of November. This is the Royal Danish Playhouse. It was finished in 2008, and then they had to make the very important decision what had to be the first play to have here. They decided on the very famous drama from Shakespeare known as Hamlet. Because in case you didn't know, Hamlet actually takes place here in Denmark in the Kronborg Castle just north of Copenhagen. And in the play there's quite a few quotes that you guys must have heard before. One of them is, there's something wrong in Denmark. And another one is, to be or not to be. I hope you spend enough time here to know that we say 2 beers or not 2 beers. That's the only question you would ever ask. Then we have the harbor buses. They work just as regular buses on land. Obviously they're on water though. They are all electric. We're trying to make all the boats sailing here, whether it is small boats or the bigger boats, they have to be electric by 2050. Oh, by the way, the big apartments you see over here, that is luxury apartments that have turned out to be the most expensive ones in the country. The most expensive apartment was for the whopping price of $10 million. Oh, I love that. I could hear someone say, yeah, I know. Okay, I will say, ending it off on a happy note, there is 20% of these that have been turned into social housing. No normal people with a regular income also gets to live here. It's a law in the country. Når vi sejler, kan vi så sejle ud foran Operahuset bagefter, så kan vi lige få den med? Altså, ja, bare lige for nu. Just rearranging the route here. So we are now headed behind the area called Holmen. This is where the big Danish military used to be, the biggest workplace of the country at the time in the 18th century. So when we go behind here, you can sort of expect to see things from back then. And we're also passing by the Opera Garden. You guys, the big building over there, that's the Copenhagen Opera House. We'll show you from the front later. The Opera Garden here finished 18 years after the Opera House to plant trees. So, yeah. And when you guys decide to come back, because trust me, you will, you have to try all the good pastries. And when you do, you have to go to the Hart Bakery, H-A-R-T. One of the locations is here, but they have plenty in the city. These guys won the award for the best pastries in Copenhagen or Denmark 4 years in a row. That's quite crazy. If you try their cardamom croissant, you will permanently move here. Trust me. We are headed under another bridge, another day, another bridge. Please sit down, mind your head. Thank you so much. And we are unfortunately headed into a silent zone because the people down here, they are rich and they have told me to sip it. So I have to turn off the microphone and you guys can chat away, just not me, okay? So just enjoy it here. But I'll be coming up and out the boat. If you have questions, we can Google it together. Any questions? for you. You will constantly see the mix between something new, something old, history, modern, and that secured us the title as the World Capital of Architecture 2023 until this year. Then you see the orange boat on the other side here and the little knockoff sandy beach. That is one of our 7 naked beaches in the city center. If it was just a little bit warmer, you will see 50 shades of beige. It's incredible. We are not shy here, for that's for sure. On the same side, you can see between all these trees, there are buildings in here. They're looking worn down. They need a loving hand. It's because you guys are staring at the backside of Freetown, Christiania. This is a lawless city inside of the city center of Copenhagen. It was a big military base that was left behind in the 70s and then discovered by hippies. And in all silence, they just moved in. And when they were finally discovered, they were established and the state just didn't want to bother. So now they get to be a city here that has nothing to do with Copenhagen. They have made their own laws and garbage systems and kindergartens and schools and cultural offers. It's a whole thing. Really, really interesting. So when you guys come back, you have to go there. On the other side, you can see all these rows of brown houses. It's the cannon boat sheds. It was the quick solution to a navy that we had to make in 1807 because the British have gone by Denmark and taken our entire navy because they thought we were a little bit too friendly with Napoleon and they didn't want us to involve with anything. So we had no way to protect ourselves by water. That's why we quickly made these and they are super wonky for that reason. But today they have turned into offices and exhibition spaces for a lot of different fashion brands, for example, from Denmark. This whole district is where Copenhagen University have all their art degrees, so architecture, fashion, all that. But you can actually go and visit it. There is so much more than just power plants here. So up on top there is a nice view overlooking the city, and to get up there you can climb up all the stairs to the very top or do the hiking trails to the very top. Or you can climb up Europe's tallest climbing wall that is attached to the building up there right next to the chimney. And on the way down, don't worry, it goes much faster. You can even ski down the ski slope. We are flat as a pancake if you haven't noticed it. So it is on the top 5 tallest points in the country. Yeah. Oh well. Coming up, we have another bridge with a white window, okay? Right there. This is the Kai Hotel, the second smallest hotel in the world. It is only 1 room, it barely fits 2 adults. But when you finally book it and you get a booking in, you get 2 kayaks, you get 2 paddleboards, you get 2 bikes, and you also get a boat in the summer, and they just added a sauna. And there's never a queue in the morning cafe. Okay, then on the, give me a sec, the captain is calling me. What's up? Remind me to give a message to you guys in a minute. Ooh, are we awake? Over here, we have the remaining military base in the city center of Copenhagen. We call it Battery Sixtus.